Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got LUKA Doncic's first game against the Dallas Mavericks, a minor fear of God controversy that could have been easily avoided, Drake running out of ideas to stay relevant, this week's hottest releases, and of course, we have our Hard Pass. All right. Let's start this week with some hot takes. So the expansion of the Mamba brand continues with the reveal that Nike will be releasing Dodger blue colored baseball gear with Kobe branding alongside the release of the Nike Kobe 6 Dodgers in April. I love it, of course. The more Kobe's, the better. But it also feels like a natural place for the Mamba brand to reside. There's a sub-brand within Nike that you know would have been super into gear. It's Kobe. And I don't just mean slapping a logo on a basketball and calling it a day. I'm talking about baseball equipment, football equipment, golf clubs if Nike golf was still an ongoing concern. Any accessory with a Kobe sheath logo would be just as much an endorsement of quality as a Nike swoosh in my mind. We know the relationship with Nike wasn't the best towards the end, but if Nike was a little more open to giving their athletes titles and responsibilities like creative director or something in the design space, I could see Kobe being as dedicated to that work as he was to his production company, Granity. I don't know if this is just a one-off for the release of the Kobe 6 Dodgers, but if not, sign me up to be the first to grab some Nike golf shirts with the Kobe logo. Hey, rebrand unused Tiger gear, add the sheath logo. I wouldn't be mad at it, and it'd be kind of funny on a number of levels. So, I posted a reel about the new Joran brand spot that welcomes LUKA Doncic to the 17-time world champion and one-time NBA Cup champion Los Angeles Lakers. It was lacking in the critical department or really any form of analysis because, well, we got LUKA and we still can't believe it. Anyways, let's talk about the spot itself. It was part of LUKA's first game against his former team, the Dallas Mavericks. The car is a Koenigsegg Agera RS that's valued at about $5 billion, decked out in purple and gold. You know, the default colors of excellence. We've got someone switching out the plates from Texas to California, and yeah, I need to find someone who can get me those purple and gold California plates, but I do find it funny that people were confidently saying that wasn't LUKA making the switch in the video, and they were basing it off of the things that actually got us LUKA. I mean, I could have told you that that wasn't LUKA because they're probably saving his first appearance in a Jordan commercial as a Laker for something bigger in the future. My small nitpick is that the commercial gives the impression that it's really fast to switch license plates. Trust me, it's never that fast. Even when you have to just open up the plate and the frame to put a registration sticker on there, it takes a minute or so. But I mean, besides that, great spot. And the use of George Strait's song, All My Exes Live in Texas. I love it. But maybe the coolest part of the whole ad was offering free parking to people who were watching the game live at Staples Center. Look, parking in downtown, it ain't cheap. And if you want to win some goodwill with the locals, paying for their parking is a great way to start. Oh, and they also revealed the Jordan LUKA 4 for the first time. I wonder if that was always the plan to debut it around this time, or would they have done it earlier if LUKA had made the All-Star team? Hard to give an assessment after just one appearance other than the graphic on the side panels and that the midsole looks like a racetrack. I will say though, with LUKA 3s being priced $50 less than LeBron 22s, you're probably gonna see more LUKAs around these parts in the coming months and years on courts all throughout SoCal. And to no one's surprise, LUKA put together a triple-double performance and showed us how he unlocked maybe the wildest thing of all, number 2 option LeBron James. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, but for now, it's all good, baby. We'll have more on LUKA later in the show. Anyway, keeping it on basketball, but switching things up a little bit. So the Indiana Hoosiers men and women's basketball teams will not be wearing their Fear of God alternate uniforms this season, much to the surprise of founder Jerry Lorenzo. They will continue to wear their standard issue Adidas uniforms. However, don't expect this to be some monumental shift. However, they probably could have saved themselves a lot of headaches and extra attention if they had said why. As of this recording, no official reason has been given for the school backing out. They did wear the Fear of God alternates last year, so it would stand to reason they would rock the new design this year. It's an interesting situation that was heightened by a now deleted tweet by an IU student reporter who says that the reason for the cancellation was because of Jerry Lorenzo's connection to Kanye West, who recently said some more stupid shit on top of other stupid shit that we're not going to talk about here. Now, whoever gave that reporter that line clearly hasn't been paying attention, because Adidas and Kanye are no longer in business together, and recently he insulted Jerry's work. Punishing Adidas and Jerry because of Kanye would be like someone boycotting Nike because Kyrie used to work there. Jerry clarified with the school's news outlet that Kanye had nothing to do with cancellations, and he doesn't even know what happened. So far, Adidas hasn't said anything on the matter as of this recording, but after searching the internets for an answer, the most plausible one I've read seems to be someone high up on the Indiana food chain, possibly a booster, hated the way the uniforms looked and had the team get rid of them. Of course, they couldn't just say the uniforms were allegedly bad, so someone leaked to the reporter that it was because of Kanye. Like, if they thought it wasn't good enough, just decline to wear them and work with Jerry on a fix. I mean, the fact that Jerry is being kept in the dark and Kanye is somehow involved, true or not, is kind of ridiculous. Feels like the school thought they could get away with something and that no one would notice. Well, oops. Speaking of someone who only does things and hopes people will notice, Drake threw an orange slide at a drone from his penthouse in Australia and no one really gave a shit. Sadly, I'm just kidding, because it went viral as someone tried to figure out if it was staged or not. Like, really, we had internet sleuths trying to figure out if Drake would pull a nonsensical stunt. It's Drake, people. Of course it was staged. Of course it was nonsensical, and of course it was to advertise a gambling website. But then it got taken to new heights of absurdity when a Sydney water company got on the act and claimed that they found the orange slide. That resulted in more internet detective work as they tried to figure out if the slide even made it out of the glass walls of the penthouse. I mean, we're trying to figure out if a water company is faking recovering an orange slide that Drake threw from a penthouse. What are we doing here, people? And then there were, I believe, 2 separate eBay listings that have since been scrubbed, claiming they had the slides and were selling them for absurd amounts. I think I'm just gonna go play the Super Bowl halftime show on repeat in the studio for the next week just to get this corniness out of my soul. Moving on. All right, for the pick of the week, we have the Nike Air Max DNA, and this is gonna be in a couple different colorways. We have it in black and university red, team red, white and black anthracite, also in silver, and those all are going to drop on March 6th for $190. So for those that don't know, March 26th is Air Max Day, the official Nike holiday that they made up. Sure, we all thought it was weird at first, but we've grown to accept it because it's an excuse for us to all wear Air Maxes. But for us, the far more important role of Air Max Day is that it has become the time of year that we can all expect to see the swoosh's latest and greatest Air Max release. This year, it is the Nike Air Max DN8. The DN8 features an expanded Air Max chamber for full-length comfort wearability. And as per tradition, we are getting a number of new colorways to kick things off. Nothing too crazy for now, but I expect we'll see plenty of fresh looks and colorways for the DN8 soon enough. All right. Non-Laker fans, cover your ears because it's time for this week's insufferable, yo, we got Luka Doncic and it still doesn't feel real segment. You can fast forward to the hard pass segment. It's a little further down in the timeline. So, did we mention that Jordan Brand's giddiness over having Luka in LA and how that's going to manifest over the next however long he decides to stay here? But let's talk about Luka himself. During the Lakers-Mavs post-game interview, he did not look like someone who was already over what happened. Like, from the lack of acknowledgement of Nico Harrison during warm-ups to throwing some shade at Coach Jason Kidd, well, let me be respectful here, Hall of Fame point guard and bridge burner Jason Kidd during the game, the cut seems like it runs deep. Luka is the one in the relationship who thought things were going great and was gonna last forever. Meanwhile, the other side was already responded to DMs and moving on with their lives. Damn, co-writer. Is this about Luka or some you did? Anyway, it's a far cry from Anthony Davis, who got a great ovation and a cool video package in his return to LA, albeit he was in street clothes due to the injury. When asked about the trade and his feelings now, Davis seems to be more at peace with the move, citing the fact that he's got a wife and kids to worry about moving to Dallas. And even if Davis doesn't totally buy that the move was done in secret and that more people knew about it than they are letting on, AD has seemingly let it go and moved on. Luka hasn't, and that might be the thing that gets us the number 2 seed in the West. I'll be real. Even after the trade happened, I didn't see a path for the Lakers to get ahead of Denver and Memphis and Houston in the West. But after these past few weeks, that includes a win over the Nuggets, a number 2 or number 3 seed is within reach. Would still be scared of a 7-game series against Denver in the second round or the West Finals, but I like our chances better now than before the trade because LUKA is mad and hella petty. And as someone who saw the entirety of the Kobe era, mad and hella petty is this city's basketball love language. It didn't always work out. See those years in between Shaq leaving and Powell arriving and leaving, but it was always entertaining because, yo, we got LUKA and it still doesn't feel real. Just like those people at the game, if I can get all my Lakers fans watching to say it with me, thank you, Nico. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Nico. Pour one out for Podcast P. Podcast or P pod. Anyway, I'll be honest. I've only ever seen clips of the show on IG or TikTok. If that's the name of the show, the level of self-awareness is kind of amazing, honestly. Anyways, P, aka Paul George, is taking a break from podcasting to focus on his side hustle, playing for misery-filled Philadelphia 76ers. Well, they would be misery-filled if not for the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Like, for real, I feel bad for Joel Embiid, but if there's a silver lining to all of this, it's happening while most Philly sports fans are still basking in the glory of the Eagles' win a few weeks ago. Might as well announce the team is moving to Pittsburgh. I don't think most would even notice or care for at least a few months. Anyways, we give PG a lot of grief on this show, mostly because he played for the JV Los Angeles basketball squad instead of finding a way to suit up for the 17-time world champion and one-time NBA Cup champion Los Angeles Lakers. Then again, if Pandemic P had played for the Lakers, maybe the LUKA trade never happens because Nico Harrison might be thinking, yeah, they're probably going to offer playoff P instead of AD. That's a hard pass. Was it a little harsh sometimes on our part? Yes. Sure, we were always fair to his signature shoe line. Well, not really. Maybe we could have been nicer. Shout out to the PlayStation PGs. Co-writer especially loved the fact that the code on the back of the PG2 that allowed people to download a custom PS4 theme, he entered the code on the pair George wore on the court for the first time, and to his surprise, it actually worked. Hopefully that wasn't a one-time use thing, or PG would have been so confused when he tried to redeem it. Wait, sorry. Where was I? All right. Good luck, postseason P. Should have gone to the Lakers, or not. Things worked out for the best anyway. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We'll take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like our not giving a goat her flowers while she was still in her prime. Let's start this off with a happy trails to the one Diana Taurasi. The WNBA's all-time leader in points scored called it a career this past week, leaving behind a resume that's going to be damn near impossible to match. I mean, when 3 NBA championships might be the easiest of her top-level accomplishments to achieve, A'ja Wilson already got 2, that's saying something. Like, if Caitlin Clark truly lives up to the hype, she's going to need to play in every Olympics until 2048 to match Taurasi's 6 gold medals. Juju Watkins needs to start winning some championships at USC if she hopes to start her career like Taurasi, who won 3 at UConn. And Paige Beckers is going to have to get her NBA career off to a hot start and get buckets to even have a minuscule percentage of a chance of catching Taurasi's all-time scoring mark of 10,646. Although, with the league expanding and possibly adding more games to the schedule, that could make things a little easier. And I'll admit to not paying as much attention to the WNBA as I should have been until recently, coinciding obviously with the rise of Wilson and our much documented desire on the show to get her a signature shoe years before it was cool to do so. Other than the occasional highlight package and every 4-year dominance by Team USA during the Olympics, I didn't really see much of D, as Sue Bird calls her. But man, after reading all of these tributes and homages by former teammates, coaches, and rivals, I wish I had paid more attention because holy hell, Diana Taurasi seemed like a stone cold killer in the vein of the late Kobe Bryant. Turns out Kobe actually gave her the nickname White Mamba, and she more than lived up to the honor. Because having that Mamba mentality wasn't just about being the best on the court and having that maniacal, single-minded desire to be the best. You also had to be an enormous jerk about it on the court. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. Remember when Kobe called Rajon Rondo an asshole and Rondo responded in kind by calling Kobe an asshole? It feels like Taurasi had that same kind of energy for both her teammates and foes. And we missed it. What a bummer for us. Of course, we are a sneaker show, kinda. So it only makes sense for us to spotlight Taurasi's signature shoe and PE run with Nike. After winning WNBA Rookie of the Year in 2004, she began 2005 campaign with a Nike Air Taurasi. 20 years later, I wonder how the market will respond to a retro of these as iconic silhouettes from the 2000s run hot and cold, depending on the day. It wouldn't hurt to give it a shot, Nike. I'm just saying. Any silly stigma that was associated with wearing a women's signature basketball shoe has since been replaced by plenty of NBA players rocking Nike Sabrina 1s and 2s, and what I'm sure will be a healthy number of athletes in both the W and the NBA rocking the Nike A1. And then there was the Nike Shock DT, which felt less like a Diana Taurasi signature model and more of a glorified PE at $100. Good pricing, although $100 back in 2006 probably feels like $160 nowadays. She also had a run with Nike LeBron PEs going as far back as the 7, which probably puts her in second place all time in LeBron PEs behind LeBron James himself, unless Bronny, Bryce, and Zuri have a secret stash of never before seen PEs hitting in the James compound. There's no doubt in my mind that if DT was coming up in this era, she would have a signature shoe alongside Sabrina, Asia, and whenever Nike gets around to Caitlin, but I guess she'll have to settle for just being a pioneer. Now, that's a title that today's stars will never be able to reach. Congrats to Diana on her amazing, literally amazing career. And hey, if she wants to get into the broadcasting booth beyond Altcast with Sue Bird, we can see her becoming the W's Charles Barkley, the OG who will probably end up being more known for their TV career than their playing days. So a tip of the cap and a congratulations on a career well played, DT. Nothing but respect and thanks for being an absolute legend and ambassador to the sport. Your contributions helped the W reach the heights and popularity they are now experiencing. The kids will take it from here. Hopefully you'll be around with the jokes and the hot takes that I'm sure will rile up the haters. Congratulations, DT. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your social media if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace.